Okay, so we have been talking about this since last couple of lectures, and we talked about questionnaires last time. And let's move forward and try to understand how does it help to teachers. The first thing first, because we are focusing on students, it reveals students' needs. So our prime objective is to help the learners to fulfill their needs. So need analysis, first of all, helps students and teachers as well to understand their preferences, what they would like to learn, whether it's listening skills, reading skills, or writing, or even speaking. And even within that, what they would like to develop in terms of competencies. They would like to develop listening competencies, or whether they would like to develop writing competencies. And within writing competencies, you have academic writing and journalistic writing. So what they are focusing on. So what are their preferences? Do they just want to speak after the ceremony is over? They are delivering speeches. So what is their preference and how they would like to take their learning into action? So need analysis will help us to understand their needs first. Second, preferences. Third, as a teacher, it helps us to provide a course book. We have to use something to take into the classroom to teach. It can be a course book or it can be study material. But then there is a lot of students' preferences that they don't like to study with the textbooks because there are multiple reasons we'll see. So need analysis will allow us to understand whether the students, the learners, are keen for a book or not. Or if they are keen, what kind of book they would prefer. Sorry, something has gone into sorry. Okay. Thank you. So, and also it will provide, if you know the preferences of your students, you will also try to understand how to execute your 1 hour or 45 minutes. I think we discussed when we try to understand Bloom's taxonomy, and we'll come back to it again when we talk of course design, syllabus design, and curriculum. We will discuss the differences also, maybe today or tomorrow. So the next aspect that helps us in through need analysis is the sense of control over their course. So teachers as well as learners get a sense of control. See, it may happen that while you teach literature, you may go into the philosophy classes, you may discuss the linguistic aspects, you may discuss politics, you may discuss sociological aspects in literature. And if you are taking literature as a tool to teach language, there is a chance that your course may get diverted. At least for a couple of minutes or sometimes sessions, you don't know. Because when you are into literature, there are chances that you may come across things which you need, as per your thinking, needs an urgent attention. For example, if I'm talking about, let's say, Premchand's Godan, I may talk about India in 1930s. I may talk about British Raj. I may talk about the Gandhi's arrival in India. So there is no sense of control for the teachers as well as learners. If students raise questions regarding that, teacher may answer that, and there might be a diversion. So with need analysis, you know what you are supposed to do in the classroom. There is a specific thing that you are supposed to focus, and this focus will give you a sense of control during the entire course. So need analysis helps us to do that. Now, it also helps us to design tailor-made courses. Like yesterday I saw, and you also experienced the different ways in which we learn. And our learning is different based on our styles. So there is a room for a teacher to design the course according to the requirement and needs of the students, in keeping learning styles in mind. And this is a great tool in terms of focusing narrowly on language aspect. So need analysis also helps us to tailor-make the courses. We'll try to learn what are the tools that we have with us to design a tailor-made course. And then it helps the teachers to focus throughout the course. And that's what we have discussed. Now, there are chances when we say that we are trying to use trial and error method during the course design. Need analysis helps us to remove the odds that, okay, I'm trying this method, it may work, it may not work. Because when you try and test a method, it consumes time. And when you have a times as a crucial factor, students may not like it. Students may not be willing to sacrifice time. So if you have a need analysis, the time factor can be killed. And you know you don't need to go for trial and error method because your curriculum, your syllabus is designed specifically. It has made for a group of students requiring only spoken English skills or academic writing skills. So you don't go here and there. You don't beat around the bushes. You deliver directly. Right? So again, it also helps the teachers as well as learners to oppose the use of the textbook. See, we have seen yesterday the different learning styles in our own classroom. And some of you are tactile learners, not as much as Arya is, but still you are tactile learners. So I'm really questioning the methods that Zoom has allowed us to use, only lecture method. So is there a way to cater the needs of the learners whose learning style is based on tactile way of learning? Zoom or online platforms, maybe there are techniques I'm not familiar, so I have to search, I have to find out how to make my tactile learners involved in the classroom. So that is another research. But then need analysis helps us to understand whether textbooks are to be used or not. And then the students also can raise their voice. And sometimes it happens that because students are not given the power, they are not empowered to raise their voice, there is a problem. There is a frustration among students. And this leads us to think about Sushant Singh Rajput, SSR. I know I'm paying tribute to Mr. Sushant Singh Chauhan, Sushant Singh Rajput, by using his name as an acronym for our class. And that stands for S for success. We need students to succeed in whatever they are trying to do. Need analysis helps us as a teacher, as a learner, to succeed in whatever target language we are focusing on. Need analysis helps us to satisfy our learners. And if learners are satisfied, we can see the teachers can also get satisfaction of their work. And the biggest problem today in any educational institute is to retain attention of the students and even retention in numbers. because numbers will bring revenue, and the economic aspect cannot be ignored. So Sushant Singh Rajput helps us, need analysis helps us to remind us that Sushant Singh Rajput is very important in terms of success, satisfaction, and retention. Need analysis helps us tailor-made the courses. And tailor-made, we have understood what tailor-made is. That means I will measure each aspect of my learner and try to accommodate every need of my learner. So if I do this tailor-made analysis for my learners, I will be able to satisfy, get success, and able to retain my students, right? So Newman suggests the potential conflicts of potential points of conflict can be revealed through need analysis. For example, the data might indicate the majority of learners desire a grammatically based syllabus, and that's may come as a surprise to many learners. Even today, students studying in English medium would like to learn and focus on grammar instead of developing fluency. So they need a explicit instruction because it's a grammatically based syllabus they require. If teachers are planning to follow non-traditional approach, they may need to negotiate with the learners and modify the syllabus to take account of learners' perception about the nature of language, nature of learning and language learning. So Nunan is very much right that teacher has to accommodate the learning needs. And if it is a grammatically based syllable, that's what students require, he has to plan accordingly. And there may be different ways and means of trying to accommodate the syllabus and learners' perception towards it. So our focus of need analysis helps us learners to understand the learning background, learning preferences. This is a summary. We will go forward in a couple of minutes. In short, learning background is necessary, preference is necessary. We need to understand what were their positive experience in learning English as well as learning negative experiences. What are their goals and how do they see and when do they want to achieve? How long they would like to take English classes for. For example, my IELTS students will always say to me that they need 3 months time and they want to get admission into September intake or January intake. So they will come in the month of July and they'll say January is my deadline and by that time I need to get at least 6.5 bands. So they know what are their goals and where and what time they need and require. So as a teacher, if you do need analysis, you will come to know at what milestones you are going to establish for themselves. Okay, so need analysis helps them. A deadline is there for the students that, okay, I do have this much time for this goal. I will be able to do this after 3 months. And I think that is the deadline for me and for the teacher as well. What are their feelings towards English learning and what kind of course book they would like to take on, and what are their views on language acquisition. Do they feel you can have a Likert scale when you can say, do you like to learn English? Where would you like to learn and acquire English language? And they will say 1 to 5 in the classroom, outside the classroom, and then you can give a number of options. And what do they expect from the course? This is very important. Do they expect fluency, accuracy? Is there any specific aim in their mind, a specific purpose in their mind? I want to immigrate. I want to get past this test, occupational English language test conducted by IELTS, or they want to appear for the life skills, again conducted by British Council and Cambridge University. So there are many benefits when you do need analysis, and it allows us to focus on a particular way. There is a diagnostic test to conduct the later stage of for the need analysis, that what are their like you have questionnaire, you have interviews, you have informal chat. Similarly, you have a diagnostic test. The diagnostic test checks whether students need to develop a kind of language skill, what can be included in the course, what aspects of language that he needs an improvement, and where is difficulty for the learner, and what are his strengths and his weaknesses. So if you conduct a diagnostic test, you will come across many aspects of the language. It requires a lot of research, and there are available diagnostic tests in the market online as well, which will allow us to build a profile of learners, of their command over skills. So I know one institute in Ahmedabad, I don't want to name the institute, and they would take certain sections of the learning community, and they would take a test, and if you score more than 67% in their test, they will give you admission. Otherwise, they won't give you admission into IELTS courses. So what does it mean? That they want to take a certain section of the learning community whose profile is really, really strong. And as a result, there is the learners' results, the IELTS aspirants' results would be higher always. And those who are poor with their linguistic skills will not get admission into the institution. It means that those who are less than 67% will not get a chance to study in a certain type of institutions. And now you can see and you can compare yourself that all the profile of the institutes that has highest ranking in the world, they choose and pick the best of the best minds. So if their rankings are higher, it means that they have already selected the best candidates available from the pool. And those who are with less percentage in terms of numbers, with less academic qualifications, with less credentials, will go to normal universities, and their ranking may not come on the top charts. So this is all politics of taking what kind of people you want to do, and that can be done through diagnostic test. It's an interesting politics of ranking across the world, and there are a couple of research articles that I have come across, and would be a very interesting comparison to see how the universities from the world come into the top charts of the rankings. I don't want to comment further on that, but that's very interesting. So what do we do after the need analysis has been conducted? When you do a need analysis, you can get lots of information. Excuse me, give me a minute. Okay, there was somebody to meet me, and I'll talk to him later. So once you do need analysis, what you get is lots of information if you have collected it very meticulously. And this is very precious raw data, and you have to save the data on a secure server, maybe a good hard drive or a pen drive. You can do encryption as well, so that nobody can access that data. However, there is open access policy towards the data, that you can share the data as well. But you have to take consent of the learners before you share the data on an open platform. It's unethical to share the data without the consent of your subjects. So you can save that information for future research purposes. This is a very it's a gold mine. In fact, the data is gold mine, where you as a teacher can do lots of research on that during the classroom, even after the classroom, and during the course or after the course. And once the course is over, you can go back to data and try to find out whether the learners have met the need analysis, what they have done before. So in fact, you can do this way. Before the course begin, you do one need analysis. And the second, you can do it afterwards. It's a kind of course feedback, but then there is a technical difference which we can talk about later. So the students will be able to understand that whether they have succeeded in getting what they wanted from the course. If they haven't, then they can in fact refer back and talk to teacher or talk to the supervisor, talk to instructor that this aspect was not covered, and then there is an area of improvement in the course design. So you can have that update. So once you do the need analysis, these are the steps you can do. When you collect the information from your learners, it is highly recommended that you use recording devices, especially when you are conducting interviews. And when you conduct interviews for your research, just don't rely on one recording instrument. I have a very bad experience with the interview. I was interviewing, what is that name? British South Asian theatre, Hardeep Singh Kohli. He is no relative to Virat Kohli, but Hardeep Singh Kohli was interviewed by me, and unfortunately my recording device, when I was going back from place A to B, I lost the device, the entire device, and luckily he was the first one to be interviewed. So when I lost the interview and the instrument, I requested him again, and he readily agreed. Imagine if he did not agree, I would have to select somebody else. So recording devices are to be placed in a safe zone. You have to keep, and from that experience, I started using 2 recording devices. One which will be with me all the time, that is my mobile, and then another Sony recorder, small one. And then while I'm taking the interviews, I would always take notes. I would note down the expressions that he is or the interviewee is doing. So that will help me to annotate the interview later on. So this is highly recommended that when you do need analysis, when you record the interviews, when you record the informal chats or group discussion, try to record as much as possible. Okay. Now let's look at the differences between course, syllabus and curriculum, because after the need analysis, what you do is try to design either of this. Right? So let's try to understand what is syllabus, what is course, and what is a curriculum. You can say course is a path, a sequence, development, and evolution. That means after attending a specific course on a specific subject, you will gain qualification. So right now you are in BA, English Language and Literature course. So throughout your first year, second year, and third year, it's a path leading towards BA, English Language and Literature, advanced. So you can relate to course. It is like mechanical engineering. So you take engineering, and within that you go for a mechanical department, and it leads you to a qualification after attending set of classes, a plan of study, selected lectures, where you look at content related to that particular subject. So I think the course is as clear as water can be. But then what is the difference between syllabus and curriculum? Before I go further, is there any questions? Do you have any questions here on course or the previous slides? You can use the checkbox, or you can raise your voice, or you can even WhatsApp me. Okay, now syllabus. It's a descriptive, a summary of topics in any subject. So, for example, you are studying English language and literature course at LSAS. So it has a syllabus, and syllabus is divided into different topics that you are going to cover. For example, you are going to study English language and teaching ELT1, that is the name of the subject, and it describes what are the topics that you are going to learn, right? So it has an outline, it has an objective, maybe 1, 2, 3, or more than 4 objectives, and it has a specific time. If you look at the syllabus that we are discussing right now, it has number of lectures devoted to it. So unit 1 would be an introduction session where you are exposed to English language teaching and English language teaching principles. It has 5 lectures. So it is time bound. Syllabus is time bound factor. Exam board approves it, and it varies from teacher to teacher, from me to Nazma ma'am, and from Nazma ma'am to Pratik sir. Whoever is taking the course will be different in terms of syllabus, the way they are looking at it, the way they are trying to identify the objectives, the way they devote time to the topics, right? Whereas curriculum is content taught in a course. It contains material. Material in the sense it has worksheets, handouts, PowerPoint presentations, research articles, reading books, whatever is available in the name of content is available here, is prescribed here. And you can see it's a prescriptive. That means the prescribed textbooks, prescribed reading, prescribed material. So it's a course where you can get government or institutional or school administration designing that curriculum. And they would be looking at the overall picture of the course. How does this meet the course requirement? So the government designs or approves the course, the institutes design and approves the course, and school administration will take on those aspects of curriculum. And this remains similar across all teachers. If you look at the university websites, you will come across these differences. To understand this better, let's look at this picture and try to understand what is syllabus and what is curriculum. So students in syllabus will know the topics, assignments, and schedule of a subject by reading the syllabus. So it covers the rules and policies and instructions. So what are the rules of the syllabus that you have to follow this rule? For example, rules like you have to submit an assignment on this date, and this must be of 1,000 words. And the policies are that you should submit assignment on pen and paper. It should be honest attempt. It should not be plagiarized. And there are instructions that you can take help of the classroom resources provided to you. So there are specific instructions. So it's a summary of a particular subject, and it is dealt by the teacher or a professor in a school or a college. The syllabus is designed according to the time, as we discussed in a previous slide. And it refers to what has to be taught. Whereas the curriculum is a whole content that we as a teachers try to teach in a particular program or a course. For example, your ELL course for bachelor's or master's course. And they try to, the curriculum aims to develop skills and learning experiences. So the overall content of the course or program can be called a curriculum. It is devised by the government or the institutes, and therefore it has its own specifications which can be learned. There are course designers, curriculum designers, content developers, and this is again a huge field for research. It refers to how to deliver the lecture, how to deliver what kind of content. And again, syllabus is of 1 year, and the completion of the course is within that this time for the syllabus. So I hope syllabus and curriculum have made sense to what we are talking about. And then the designing course is again going to be crucial once you do the need analysis. So how to do this? Because it's a process and you have to interpret the data which you have derived from your students. And then this data can be categorized, can be classified into smaller units. Okay, my students are wanting to learn grammar, and this aspect within grammar, let's say Concord is what they are looking for, and majority of my learners find it difficult to talk about and to be accurate on Concord. So I will devote a session, a class on Concord in order to meet their demand. What I'm doing is I'm responding to the need of my students by analyzing and interpreting the raw data. So this way you can include what are the subjects that students like to learn, and list of those learning ideas, list of those lessons, list of those needs can formulate the syllabus. And what to design or what to teach first and how to teach that will be part of your design. And then it will also allow you to select the material. Whether I need to work on more on worksheets, or do I need just PowerPoint presentations, or do I need a grammar reference books, or do I need something else? Do I need audio visual? Do I need pair work or group work in order to meet these demands? So the materials and methods will be based on that. And then evaluation as well. We'll talk about evaluation when we talk of designing learning outcomes and learning objectives and learning aims. We'll try to understand the difference between all that. So goals, aims refer to overall or long-term purposes of the course, and objectives describe the specific ways in which the goals can be achieved. We'll talk about that in greater detail later on. Now the question comes from the previous slide that you need material, and one of the important and easiest thing that ELT teachers look at is course book. What is the course book that can be helpful to learners? As I said before, that learning styles and learning needs might be different for all your learners. So the question comes here: can English language be taught without a course book? The answer may be yes or no. It entirely depends on the kind of course book you have chosen. And there are certain books which researchers call a bad textbook. I don't know whether you have come across this word or not, but there are textbooks which are badly written. Because it does not cater the needs of the learner, it does not aim at the age of the learners. When I say age, I'm talking of their psychological needs. It doesn't talk of the interest of the students. If either of these three factors are not met in a textbook, That means a textbook is bad. Coupled with that, the variety is lacking, because when a textbook is used in the class, it needs variety. Variety in the sense, the difficulty levels. It can be easy, medium and hard, advanced, intermediate and elementary. So if the textbook is not catering those needs, it is a bad textbook. If it does not cater the learning styles of the learner, auditory, visual and tactile, or even combination of these three, then a textbook can be a bad textbook. So when a writer is writing, he has to consider all these points: needs, age, interest, variety, learning styles, and together with all that, he also has to consider the activities that enable to develop linguistic competencies. So it's not just writing a book that is a very crucial factor in academic life, but it should focus on needs, age, interest of the students, variety of difficulties for the classes, hard, easy, and easier, or maybe advanced, intermediate, and elementary, and learning style, audio, visual, and tactile, or combination of that, and developing linguistic competencies. If a textbook can do these functions, then it stands a good chance to be recommended in the ELT class. We have less than 1 minute and I'll not go further. So if you would like to ask a question, if you would like to know anything, you can use this time, or later on, if you are finding it difficulty to watch and understand the YouTube video, you can come back to me always and raise an important question. Okay, please don't forget to refer after the session at night. Just listen to the lecture and find out what can be helpful. If you are an auditory learner, this is a very great resource. Thank you very much for your attention, and we'll meet in the next class.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.